Hello from ColDesi. In this video, we're here to talk about two different types of hoops and the difference with them. We've got the allied gridlock system right here and the traditional hoops that would come with your Avance embroidery machine. So let's go ahead and show a couple examples of why they're particularly different and why the allied is a fantastic upgrade for your embroidery business. Let's just go ahead and start with how you would traditionally hoop this scrub top with a pocket. Say you were putting, veterinary hospital across the top right there. Now you want to make sure that this is very straight. As your logo and embroidery machine moves across, if it's crooked because you have that pocket line there, it's going to be very noticeable, and you don't want to throw away this garment for making a mistake, and you definitely don't want to deliver a subpar product if you're going to sell a premium product to your customers. So let's just show you how you would hoop this traditionally. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to go through and use backing like you normally would, and I'm not going to tension it too tight because it's really just a visual representation of one of the issues of hooping with a traditional hoop. Now, as I hoop this on here, I'm going to use my lines from my hoop, maybe these screws, and just visually try to get it straight, and then hoop this in. Now, as I've done this, this does look like a nice hoop. It's nice and tight. It looks pretty straight. But if you look really close here, you can see that this line is just above the screw hole. And if we go to this side, the line on the pocket is actually just below, which means that on this design, when it goes to sew out, I would really need to take it to my embroidery machine, do a check and a trace to make sure it's straight. And if I didn't notice that it was a hair off, my embroidery might be a little bit off, and I may end up throwing away this scrub and the time that I used to embroider it. Now, this method does work. It just does take the finesse and making sure that you've got it on perfectly straight, as there's no visual lines. Now, let's show the difference using an allied hoop. So here we have an allied gridlock hoop. Now, this one actually, you can see it's a square hoop. So it actually operates a little bit differently, and you're going to see that there are lettered and numbered lines in the hoop. These are going to be really important in getting some really straight embroidery done. Now, visually, when I set this on top here, I could note to myself that my logo I'm going to put at line 0. But my pocket is going to be lined up with line number 2. And you can see a 2 here and on the other side as well. Now, when I hoop this, I'm going to make sure that the pocket's on line 2 on both sides, and I'm 100% sure that this is straight. So let me show you how to do this. Now, already I can see when I drop it down it's too high. So right away I know that it's off, and I can move my hoop down a little bit. Okay, now I've hooped this right here on number 2, right on this side on number 2 as well. And you can see I'm 100% sure that this is hooped up. In addition to this, I can actually note in my embroidery software or in the work order that when I hoop this, I line the pocket on allied hoop, the 4.5 by 5 square, on line number 2, and the logo is designed to go on line number 0. So when I bring it to my embroidery machine, I'm tracing at line 0. And when I'm hooping to line 2, and I know 100% that this is going to come out exactly where I want it to be. There's two other great points to make when we're talking about the difference between our allied gridlock premium hoops and our traditional regular embroidery hoops. If we look at the bottom half of our hoop, we're going to notice that there are 2 different hoop screws. The traditional hoop screw, you tighten and you loosen here by twisting. It doesn't actually give you a direction on which one is tight or loose. You just visually will feel and see the difference. Our allied system has a handle on the side that's actually got some grip to it, so it's particularly easy to open and close. It shows a direction, and it also has a little spot where a screwdriver can go in there for when you need to tighten your hoop down when it's already hooped, or maybe it's in a particularly tight spot, like you're already inside of a shirt or something like that. You can actually reach in there from the side with a screwdriver and really tighten that down. That's particularly important with thicker items. Another little note is just looking at the difference in the type of plastic that we have here. You can visually see that this has a more matte finish. This finish will help to grip your garment better. In addition to the actual flex, you can see the plastic is much softer here than it is on the Allied. This is a particular mixture, a particular plastic that's patented by Allied specifically for making embroidery hoops to have great longevity and particularly great hooping. So the big three that we're talking about when it comes to difference between the Allied gridlock hoops and the traditional Avance hoops are going to be your grid lines for lining up your designs and making notes on where you put the design when you hooped it, the type of plastic they used, which better grips the garment and is a stronger grade of plastic, and then finally the hoop screw, which is easier to get to, has spring tension on it to keep it in place, and it also has a screw on the slot for particularly tightening that down. So if you're looking at an Avance embroidery machine, then I definitely recommend you talk to your embroidery pro here at ColDesi and ask about how you can upgrade to an Allied gridlock hoop system. And if you already own an Avance machine and you're looking to a la carte purchase some or get yourself a kit, you can visit colemanandcompany.com and check out the Allied gridlock hoops there.